know like, our bid.
Howdy.
Schedule now.
All right, thank you. All right. So how's your data collection? I know one group is waiting for my approval. I think there were multiple groups needs me to approve before data collection. I don't think it's your group. Oh, so there are only two groups here, right? If you need, so please read the comments on your assignment 2. If it says you need my approval before you start data collecting, please do that. And I got one document that I need to approve today, and there should be more. So make sure you check before you do that. All right. So PyCon evaluation, it closes on October the 4th, and more than half of you have completed it, which is good. If you haven't done it, make sure you do that. You get 1 extra point, and if necessary, we might make some changes for the second half of the semester, just based on the feedback. Okay. So chapter 6 will be influencing, and we're going to talk about conformity today. So I looked at the chapters, chapter 6. It's a fairly short chapter, so I was thinking I might combine this subtitle with this subtitle, and we can do it within one class, and we can have an extra class period, and you can work on your project. Do you want that? Okay. I might combine them and have a Wednesday class or a Friday class. I'll let you guys know, and then for the other class, do you want to come here to work, or you want to just have a day off and then you can organize your own group activity? What do you guys think?
I feel like it'd be
Is that on Friday?
like you'd have to meet somewhere.
Friday or Wednesday. I haven't decided yet. Do you guys have a preference?
Wednesday.
The data spreadsheets due next Monday.
Yeah, you don't have to finish collecting all the data again.
So maybe Friday we can try out
Oh, we can do it today, right?
this week and then figure it out on Friday.
Yeah. And then,
He's supposed to do it today.
I think either day will.
Yeah, I feel like either has to be.
Yeah.
Any decisions?
Maybe Friday.
Friday?
I think we do it in here.
What?
Yeah. You can still come in. Do you want me to come in here too?
We just have to wait.
Because the classroom will be open. You can use the classroom.
I feel like as long as the door is open. we'd be
Okay.
good.
If you need my assistance, you can tell me to come here. If you don't need my assistance, I'll just be at home. All right. Okay, so let's do Friday. I will combine the classes into one for Wednesday, and Friday there won't be a class, so that you have more time to work on your group project. Okay. Oh, I forgot. So if you are attending online classes, when you come in, please be dressed. I still have people like, I don't know, it's just inappropriate. When I edit the video, sometimes I need to blur them out, and just be careful. It's sometimes it could be trouble if you don't dress properly, and it's it's kind of like a public space still because you're attending online classes. I don't know who they are because I only noticed when I was editing the video and uploading it, and I saw that. So just be careful. I think you can disable your video before you join, right? So yeah, if you prefer not to wear anything, just close your video so others can't see it. All right. Okay, so social influence. This is the influence of others, other people's presence on your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And social norms, those are learned cultural rules. Okay. Pretty straightforward, right? So now I want you to think about what are some of the classroom norms, either before the pandemic or during the pandemic. Like wearing mask would be a classroom norm during the pandemic. What else? Yeah.
Before, it's just like sit anywhere you want.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so before you can sit anywhere you want, and then now you have assigned seat. Very good. Before not wearing a mask. Very good. What else? There should be plenty. Yeah.
We can't eat or drink anymore.
You can what?
Eat or drink.
Oh, you can eat or drink during class?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I'm not supposed to have it.
Interesting. What do you guys think? Like, you should be able to eat and drink during class? There's no right and wrong question. I'm just, yeah.
I think drinking water should be allowed just because.
Yeah, drinking water should be allowed. Yeah, you're right. I was picturing like fast food, like a burger and then your soda.
Well,
When you put it, psst, right, and then the can, it's like when you drink it. That was what I was picturing. What do you guys think? There's no right and wrong question, answers, and it really depends on the classes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the teacher.
Yeah.
So I used to go from work and have like 20 minutes to get to class and like eat all in that same span.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
They were always like, if you're quiet and you're not disrupting anybody,
Uh-huh.
and you're not like passing food around to people,
Mhm.
distracting anybody, they were totally fine with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it just really depends on the teacher. The classroom itself too, because I know there's like the Zachary building doesn't allow food and drinks, period.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're allowed to have it at the Starbucks, but it's not allowed anywhere in the building.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. The reason that I was surprised because I never encountered this kind of situation when I was teaching before. So now I was thinking, oh, maybe it had happened, I just didn't notice. Personally, I would prefer not, because if it smells good, it would be so distracting. I'll be like, oh, I want to get that after class, and then I won't be able to focus on the class. Yeah, I don't think it's a huge problem, but it's interesting. Yeah. So now you can't eat because you have to wear a mask. What else? It doesn't have to be related to pandemic. What are some of the classroom norms? You guys have been doing it. Like before you speak, you kind of raise your hand, right? That's a classroom norm. What else? A lot of things that you think it's so daily and you think it's so normal, you don't even notice it. There are a ton. What else? I think you first.
That you stay seated the whole time, you don't like just like get up and walk around.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like taking notes and paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, so I forgot to mention, I had this meeting with one of the your classmates. He's asking me about note taking. So in my opinion, it's better to just not take notes during class. And this is based on studies. Is that when you pay attention, and I think most psychologists will agree with me. Do you guys know Jordan Peterson? Psychologist in Canada. So I actually put his video in our class video list on YouTube. So if you have taken cognitive psychology, I think we mentioned this. It's very hard for you to multitask. You're dividing your attention. If you're taking notes, and your ability to process what I'm saying will be reduced. So the best strategy based on study is that you listen and you engage in deeper information process. Like you understand the information, you engage in discussions, and then afterwards you go through the PowerPoints slide by slides and make sure you understand them. It doesn't take long because each lecture is less than 20 slides. And if you can teach the material to your friends, to your family, like, oh, this is what I learned, it's interesting. And then if they don't understand, you try to give them examples. When you can do that, it means that you really master the material. You don't even need to memorize the definition. So, side notes. But yeah, you can still take notes. It's really personal preferences. It just, it might work different for everyone too. So, yep. Norms, you're expected to pay attention in classroom. Very good. What else? There's a very obvious one. Yeah.
Show up on time.
Show on time. Very good. Yeah. Norms. And I'm expected to stand here to teach you, right? I'm not going back there and then tell you to look in front. It's usually I'm behind the podium and then you guys are seated. So very good. There are a lot of norms and a lot of times we don't even notice them. What about social norms besides classroom? What are some social norms that we conform to? Because it's about conformity. Yes?
I mean, not so much currently, but shaking someone's hand when you first meet them.
Yep, shaking hands. Yep. What do you do now? Do you bow?
No, normally I just say like hello, nice to meet you, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'd say smiling at someone you recognize, like,
Mm-hmm.
so if I'm walking past someone but I can't necessarily stop, I smile at them or
Mhm.
something. You can't do that with the mask. I mean, you can, but you can see it.
Yep. Yep.
So I've definitely caught myself doing that multiple times when like they can't see it.
Yep. Yep. Very good. Yep.
Holding the door open for someone behind you.
Ah, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yes, so that's a social norm, right? I actually had this conversation with someone, and she thought, if you notice on campus, it's more often that men do that. And then, I don't know, don't know, because I wasn't paying attention, but according to her, men were doing it more often than women. And she thought that was sexist. And I was thinking, it might be a little bit too extreme because I never actually thought about it. What do you guys think? Or did you guys notice men were doing it more often than women, or it's about the same? Because I never paid attention to that. Yeah.
I took the psychology of women class
Mm-hmm.
with Dr. Pamela Edens, and it was really good. But we talked about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This specifically about it being basically we were talking about sexism, and we were talking about now what was formerly known, or sometimes so commonly known as chivalry,
Mhm.
is also known as benevolent sexism. Or
Mhm.
we were just suggesting that what it truly is benevolent sexism,
Mhm.
which is, I guess, sexism where it's like doing good, but it's doing good from a mindset of because they need it because they're weaker or
Okay.
something like that. And so, I mean,
Mhm.
we were talking about it, and I said my mentality, it's like, I'll hold the door for people. And one time, I remember having someone, I had a girl who was like, are you doing this just because, like, I'm doing this because I'm a girl? And I'm like, I'm doing it because you're a person. And then I walked through and was like, but you can open the door. I was like, I don't like. So I don't think it's, I don't think, I guess there's maybe some people who have the intention of like, I mean, I don't think anyone's making a conscious or even subconscious thought of this person's weaker than me, so I need to open it for him. I
Yeah.
think it's like if I saw another dude, I would also open the door because
Mhm.
it's like, it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe it doesn't matter who like whether it's a man or woman after you will still hold the door, and that wouldn't be sexism. Very good. Very
I
good.
think Oh, sorry. But
No, you go ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I think if anything, when we're kids, we are taught.
Mhm.
Like at that point, then it might be more sexism. It's like, because, yeah, like my parents did raise me to also like hold the door for a girl, but they were like, hold the door for people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So if they say that, only hold it for the door, for the girls.
Well-
And if it's a guy behind you, don't hold it up. And that would be sexism.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd ask the girls. Like, because I don't know how they were raised. but
Okay.
The girls are raised the same way being told, hold the door for people.
Yeah.
That's like a normal thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like guys
Uh-huh.
are kind of like.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very good. Yeah. Oh, before you say that, there's no right or wrong answers right now. So if you have a different opinion, just voice up. And I'm just interested when you come up with very current examples. And I think it's relevant and it's interesting. Yeah.
Since I'm going from California originally,
Mm-hmm.
it's very different here in the South. So in
Okay.
California, you do see some of it, like guys holding the door for the girls sometimes, but it's not really that common.
Okay.
It's only here in Texas where the guys will like open the door and let the girl in.
And then they go in.
So the girl goes in, and then I've also noticed that just as a general thought, I feel like a lot of people hold the door on campus for everybody, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do notice that the guys are the ones that will open it for the girls. Sometimes they'll do it for like guys and everybody, but they'll stand by the door if it's too crowded and let people in.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed that, sometimes if it's a girl, she'll open the door and just keep it open, and then someone will grab the door again and just keep passing like that.
Okay.
That's one of
And
the difference I've just noticed.
between Texas and California? Very interesting. Because the reason is that I don't think I'm taught to do that in the city that I'm from. Usually, we don't need to open the door. Usually, it's like automatic. It might sound weird, but it's kind of. I can't think of any incidents that I need to hold the door for people. And also, in Asia, it's so crowded. Usually, the door is just like stay open. I never had that situation, and so when I got here, no one taught me. I just opened the door for people, and then this one time, people said that could be offensive, and that made me thinking. I was like, what? And yeah, I can see the counter arguments, but still, I think it's interesting topic. So many people have different opinions. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had a question about, I was thinking, okay, so I feel like there's like normal circumstances, like going to class where you open the door.
Uh-huh.
And then I realized, okay, so then what do you guys think about guys opening a door on a date? Because like when you go on a date, that is something that,
Wait, you say
so like opening, like when you're on a date.
on a
Right,
date?
Like opening the door.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know, letting her in, and then closing the door, and then going around the other side and stuff.
Uh-huh.
See, and that's something that's like, is that
On the date.
benevolent sexism, or is that?
What do you guys think? Yeah.
When a guy opens the door for me on a date, I view it as like a nice gesture. Like,
Uh-huh.
I've never once thought like, oh, he's opening it for me because I'm cutie. Because like, I assume that everybody knows like, most people are capable of opening doors, unless you're like super weak. But like, I assume that they know that I know how to open the door. I'm
Mhm.
strong enough to open a door. And so I view it as like a nice kind gesture. For me, it's like
Okay.
a +1 if they like open
Uh-huh.
the door for me. It's not like required, but it is
Yeah.
something that I'm like, oh, that was a really nice thing to do. It's something
Mhm.
that I do pay attention to.
Interesting. Yeah, so right now we're using open the door as an example, as you mentioned. Can you think of any other examples that might be benevolent sexism and you don't accept that? Yeah.
I mean, a common thing would be like him paying for the first date.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you would think that's more of a benevolent sexism?
I mean, I feel like it could be seen as that way.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like it's more of just a traditional type of thing, not so much like a sexist thing.
Okay.
It's just like, okay, like if he's gonna take you out, like
Mhm.
maybe open the door, like that's a polite thing to do. Like
Mm.
he doesn't need to, you're not weak, it's
Yeah.
just a polite thing. And then
Yep.
like if you're gonna eat dinner, like it's nice if he pays.
Okay. Interesting. That's very interesting. What else? We're gonna go back to social norms, but yeah. What other social norms do we have?
I
Yes.
would say like for the door thing, I feel like it's
Uh-huh.
common enough to open the door that I feel like it's kind of rude when someone like slips through the door and lets
Oh,
it
yeah.
go. I'm like, and I kind of expect that people
Uh-huh.
will open the door. Like I open the door for whoever's behind me.
Yes.
Kind of like she was saying, like it's extra nice if someone like steps
Uh-huh.
out of the way, but I feel like it's just normal person niceness. Just hold it for the next person.
Very interesting. Before you go ahead, I wanted to ask you, so if it's in California, do people just open the door and then go in and then just slam it? Like not slam it, but leave the door, just let it close?
No, I think it's more of like you just the timing, I guess. If like the person who's like too close, like you obviously gonna keep it open.
Oh, okay.
If someone's like too far away, like you're just gonna let it go.
So if someone's after you, you will still like kind of hold it.
Like if they're like really close, like right.
Oh, you still hold it a little bit.
Grab it.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Otherwise, that would be so weird if someone's right behind you. Hey! That would be so funny. Okay, that makes sense. So, but if it's a little bit far away, they wouldn't just hold it. Okay, makes sense, makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, so I was always taught not to slam the door in someone's face, so that was
Uh-huh.
always the norm that was, I guess, stronger
Uh-huh.
for me. So when my parents were teaching us to hold the door open for someone, it was because you don't slam the door on somebody's face,
Uh-huh.
because that's rude. Or at least that's how it was taught in our family. And so I suppose that's sort of a girl's perspective, that we were taught it was rude to
Mhm.
slam, for the door to slam, rather than open the door because they're a girl.
Okay, very good.
So my family's from New York,
Mhm.
and like when they moved here when I don't remember New York, but like, 'cause I wasn't even walking, but that's not the point. But I remember my parents like always mentioning like some things being like Southern hospitality. And like I think like door holding might be one of them, as like a Southern because like people like the Southern hospitality or like Southern culture like
Mhm.
Texas things
Mhm.
like in the South. Because,
Yeah.
like, New York's more crowded,
Mm-hmm.
but like so they never really thought about that.
Yeah.
But also like I remember that being like they always sometimes mention comments about that or like, oh yeah, we need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then like,
Good.
I think that's all.
Yeah, that's very good. So I noticed in the United States, there's very different social norms for northern cities and southern cities in general, I think, right? Based on what I've heard. That's very interesting. And also, another reason that we study is that if a city is more busy, like people tend to walk faster, they tend to mind their own business more than people in the cities that are slower pace. So that could be a reason too. Very good. So there are a lot of social norms, and know that social norms can be very different even within the same country. So make sure before you go to a new place, make sure you know the norms and don't act too weird. Right. Okay. So we have two types of social norms. We have the prescriptive norms. That's what most people in a group approve of. So we all approve this kind of thinking, this kind of thoughts and behavior. And then we have descriptive norms. Sorry about that. I'm gonna mute my phone. Descriptive norms are what most people in a group think, feel, or do. So, in other words, prescriptive norms is how people should behave, and descriptive norms are how people actually behave. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not the same. So here is an example. So when you're in the park, sometimes, or in a national park or somewhere, there could be a sign that says no camping. I don't know if you can see that very well. It says no camping. But that's the prescriptive norms. What do people actually do might be different. And that's descriptive norms. And there are more examples like this. Okay, before we go to examples, any questions on this two type of social norms? We're good, right? Okay. So more examples. It says no dumping allowed. Now, can you think of any examples that prescriptive norms are different from descriptive norms? obey the laws, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when it comes to speeding, most people disregard like speeding.
Very good. Very good. So usually if the speed sign says 45 miles per hour, usually people go like 3 to 5 above, right? Usually. Yeah. So the 45 would be prescriptive and going 50 on 45 is descriptive. Very good. Yep.
I think social distancing
Uh-huh.
would be prescriptive, and then just hanging out with people would be descriptive.
Mm-hmm. That's very unsafe, but yeah, it's a good example. There are so many people doing that. Speaking of which, I think we have almost 1,500 new cases on campus now, so there's some serious stuff. Make sure you are safe and be careful. What else? What else? Yeah.
In regards to traffic rules, jaywalking is really common, where like it's prescriptive that you shouldn't jaywalk, it's not allowed, but like everyone does it.
Very good, very good. So jaywalking, very good. Those are a lot of good examples. Okay, so conformity, we kind of talked about this. This is the change in beliefs, opinions, and behaviors as a result of wanting to fit in. Okay, and this is an example of learning social norms. So we're conforming to the social norms so we don't stand out. People don't think that we're weird, right? So I want you to think about this. What happens when we break norms and when we don't conform? So sometimes if you lose a bet, you do some weird stuff in public, how would you feel? Or other times that you have to break the social norm. Like what happens to the people around you or what happens within you? Like how do you feel? Yeah.
I mean, since you don't fit in, you usually feel ostracized.
Ostracized. Yep. Yep. Very possible. Why would you feel ostracized?
Because like then you're behaving or you're acting or doing something different than everybody else is or what's not normally accepted.
Yeah.
And so you don't feel like that sense of connection with anyone else, so you can feel
Mm-hmm. And you do that by social comparing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You compare yourself to others, and sometimes it draws attention. People will look at you weirdly, right? Yeah. Yeah, very good. So you might feel ostracized, or you might just feel uncomfortable, right? Yep. So what happens when others break norms and they don't conform? Yeah.
I think this goes back to her with the ostracism.
Mhm.
The first thing I thought of is if a person like stood up and started yelling in the middle of class about something random, like their classmates would be like, "What's going on?"
Uh-huh.
Sort of confusion, irritation, maybe.
Irritation, very good.
Just sort of what's going on.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. So a lot of times when people break social norms, you might think it's funny. Like in this example, it might be funny, but in a lot of cases, we tend to dislike the differences. Like when people behave very differently, we tend to maybe feel irritated, or we just feel uncomfortable. We don't like it. And same with when we break social norms, we feel discomfort, right? So norms, they help. Ooh, almost fell. So norms, they help establish and maintain social order. However, mindless following norms can be a problem. And we kind of talked about rioting is the individualization, is when you lose your individual identity, right? And when you mindless following norms, it's when you lose your self-identity, like you don't really think about it and you just do whatever other people are doing. Okay. So norms can be good, can be bad. There are pros and cons. That's the point. And here is an example, and I'm going to play the clip. And we'll talk about what this is.
Place like this street in New York City, if you were unfortunate enough to be the victim of a crime or taken ill unexpectedly, you might think that surrounded by all these people, someone would intervene. After all, isn't there safety in numbers? Psychologists say no. Research suggests that often a victim is less likely to receive assistance when surrounded by a group rather than a single bystander. When people are in a crowd, it's easier to pass the buck. It's what psychologists call the diffusion of responsibility. Liverpool Street Station in London, a busy thoroughfare for commuters. Unknown to these passers-by, Peter is an actor. As part of an experiment on bystander apathy, he's pretending to be ill.
Help. Help.
How long before he gets help?
Help. Help, please. Please help.
Helping would be inconvenient or even risky. He lies there for more than 20 minutes and no one raises an eyebrow.
Please, somebody help me.
It's always very distressing to watch situations like this where people are obviously suffering and no one's actually helping them. But what we have here is two conflicting rules. One is the rule we ought to help, and the other is the rule that we ought to do what everybody else is doing. And here you have effectively a group of strangers who are exerting the pressure not to intervene, not to help, and it's very difficult to rebel.
Ruth, another actor, takes Peter's place. How long before she receives help? Four minutes later, and 34 people have passed without stopping.
Well, people don't really want to listen all the time. Well, they have got the time, they just don't get involved.
Unwittingly, these strangers have silently formed a temporary group with a rule: don't get involved. They're afraid to stand out from the crowd and won't take action if no one else does. This woman has clearly spotted Ruth, but she conforms to the rule and does nothing. Watch what happens, though, when someone else helps.
You alright? You alright?
Yes, thank you.
Sure, you're a bit slinky, you know what I mean?
She suddenly finds herself in a different group with a new rule: to help.
Well, shut up. You alright, yeah? Sure.
First I thought she was dead. Then I saw to check to see if she was breathing or not. And I looked around and I couldn't believe that no one had noticed her because there was a bloke sat there just absorbed in reading a newspaper.
This time, Peter's dressed as a respectable gentleman. Now that his dress is in keeping with those around him, how long before he's rescued?
Hello, sir. How are you today?
6 seconds. She even calls him sir, and suddenly everyone's a good Samaritan.
Do you suffer from epilepsy?
No.
While you're lying on the floor in the rain?
Because he's part of the right group. Everyone wants to help.
I would just hate to be in this position of feeling ill and nobody helping him walking past, so just like to check that he was okay.
And I thought, well, it's wet, so he must really be ill because he ruined his suit anyway.
Alright, what do you guys think? Before we go into what this is. We kind of mentioned this. It's the bystander effect. Right. Do you have any thoughts after viewing the clip? It's just what it is. Right.
Plays like.
Okay, so the bystander effects, they are when individuals are less likely to offer help to a victim when other people are present. And the greater the number of bystanders, the less likely it is that one of them will help. And the video mentioned, you don't want to stand out, right? When everyone else is doing it, you're less likely to do the different thing. The reason we had this kind of experiment was back in the days, I think it was the 70s or 60s. In New York, there was one woman who got robbed and murdered, and she yelled for help for, I think, over 20 minutes. And the neighbors, they all heard it, but no one called the police because they all thought other has already called the police. And during the investigation, the police will ask around, they were aware what was happening. They knew that the woman was being attacked. The person who was robbing the woman, he actually ran away and then came back and kind of like finished her. And it was a pretty sad incident. That's why people start to look into this. Why don't people help when there are so many people? And that's the bystander effect, right? So why we kind of talked about it, conform, people tend to conform. And do you notice at the end, they had the actor wear nice clothes and he kind of stands out. I didn't really like it because it was just one trial. They didn't show us like many trials, whether it's actually the clothes are doing, making a difference. However, it kind of makes sense because people tend to prefer in groups. So if it's a nice area, everyone is dressed up. If this person is wearing kind of regular clothes or casual clothes, they might not pay too much attention, but it's someone who's wearing nice and lying down on the street, they might be more likely to help. So it's possible. All right. Okay. So do you remember the difference between informational and normative conformity? Yeah.
Normative is when you fit in because you don't want to be different from everyone else, and informational is when you follow what other people are doing because you're unsure of what like the correct thing to do is.
Yes. So when you don't have a clue, you just follow people. So is this a normative or an informational? Or both? Yeah.
I would say normative because I feel like most people know what to do in that situation. Like you should go and check on the person and see if they need
Yep. I agree. What about you guys? I think it's more normative. It could be a little bit informational too, because they just don't know what happened. Maybe a little bit, but I agree. It's mostly normative. They just want to fit in. They don't want to stand out. Okay, so can we avoid this bystander effect, and how do we get help so that when there's a crowd, you don't get help? Do you guys have any idea? Yeah.
Like, I was a lifeguard, and so whenever there's an emergency, you don't just like ask for someone to do something, you like point to someone and say, you do this.
Very good. So as a lifeguard or as the person who needs help?
As the lifeguard, like
Oh,
delegate
okay.
responsibilities.
Gotcha,
like, also be
gotcha.
the person that needs help instead of just like generally wanting help. Like if you
Uh-huh.
direct it towards someone, then it's more responsibility on them personally.
Very good. So instead of saying, someone call 911, you say, you call 911, right? Very good.
I was gonna say the same thing, like trying to
Okay.
single someone out, like if
Mhm.
you don't know, just like point and say you, help
Yep.
me out instead of someone.
Very good, very good. Any other idea? It's very good. What else can you do to avoid this kind of situation? Alright, we'll just go ahead. So you need to make sure that everyone knows that you are having an emergency. You said that you can say, I don't know this person and I need help if someone's attacking you. So that people don't think, oh, it's just like I don't know, an argument between friends or something. Make sure that everyone knows you're in danger, you're having an emergency. And then singling someone out. Very good. So you can say, hey, you, or someone in the red shirt, or someone like that. So single them out so they will take full responsibility and they're more likely to act. And then you should give them specific instruction, like where you say, this person call 911 and that person get water and this person do something else. So give them specific instruction so that it doesn't cause like a mess. Yes. Very good. So those are very useful skills that you can use in your life, just in case of emergency, and teach your friends too. Right. So automatic mimicry, that's unconscious conformity. And there's some examples, such as yawning. When you see other people yawn, you're more likely to yawn. Have you had that experience before? Okay. And leg shaking, sometimes when people do that, you're more likely to do that, but unconsciously. And in psychology, we found that there will be more mimicry if the target is liked. So let's say you really like this person at the bar. And if this person is doing a gesture, like just holding their hand like this, if you really like them and then you kind of look at them, I like this person, and you're more likely to do this than just a regular person. And you might not notice that. Also, it happens when the mimicker is high in need to affiliate. So we find this more often for people who are talking with their supervisor. So when their supervisors are sitting in a certain way, they're more likely to mimic their gestures. Right. And also, we found that if you found that the other person is behaving like you, you're more likely to like them back. And we're going to talk about that. That's about in-group and similarity. We tend to like people who are similar to us. Okay, so now let's do a short discussion. What are some examples of nonconformist? And what do you think about nonconformist? There should be a lot of examples nowadays.
I think once you're in a group like that, then you conform to that group's norms.
Yeah.
Are we talking like as a group or a class?
Oh, we can just speak up. Or if you want to talk in the group, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Because like even in that like like you're still
Then that
like
group
it's
has
still
its
a
place.
smaller society, but it's still like the norm, you know?
Yeah. So what you're saying is that even if you're non-conforming, you're conforming, right?
Yeah, so like if
Yeah.
you're joining that group, like it's different than normal social norms, but like then you have the norms of that group, like maybe dye your hair a certain color, it's like
Yeah, wear certain ways. Yeah, very good. I wasn't gonna show this picture. I was gonna do it later, but it was a mistake. So that's what do you? So that's how you think about this people. Like, do you have any examples? And that could be an example. I don't know who they are. Are they goth? No, they're not goth, right? Do you know goth? Yeah. So they're not them. I don't know who they are. So goth is a non-conformist group, right? What else? Yeah.
Good cults kind of happen.
Cult?
They don't want to conform to
Mm-hmm.
society because they have their own rules.
Yep. All different kinds of cults. What else? Sometimes you choose to do this. Sometimes you might not know that you're being a nonconformist. Right? We have something like this in campus. The 2%er, right? What else? Can't think of any? They're punk. Oh, punk as a group, not like you're punk, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. Very good. What else? There are a lot. Nowadays, we have a lot. A lot of movements. They're non-conformist, right? They don't want to conform to the existing norms. What kind of movements do we have right now?
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter. It's they don't want to conform to the current norms. They want to do something else. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
We have like fish camp on campus.
Fish camp.
Yeah.
I'm not very familiar with that.
The counselors like kind of dress up or like dye their hair and get like piercing and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Unique and welcome everyone.
And oh, so they are welcoming new students.
Yeah.
So they're not conforming.
They
They're
kind
not
of, yeah,
conforming.
they kind of go like insane, like they'll dye their hair crazy.
Okay.
Or like get piercings.
Gotcha.
Like, seem like they're not, so that everyone feels welcome.
I don't understand. How will people feel welcome if I see someone who's like got their hair dyed?
I think the whole point is like, so they can be themselves, and even if like they're a little weird too, like
Okay.
that's okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So the information is I'm different and you can be different too.
Yeah.
That's the information. Okay, gotcha. Very good. They should state that because otherwise it'll be so confusing. If I see that, I'll be like, what? Yeah, very good. What else? And we have a lot of movements now. Do you guys know the Fat Pride movement? So there's this movement. You guys know or you don't know this? Okay, so people think that the norm is people like thin people, right? They like people who are built, and obese people and fat people, they get stigmatized. And now there's a group of people, they think, oh, being fat, it's you should be proud of it. That's a movement. If you don't know, you can look it up. And do you guys remember babies? Yeah, that's another group. There are a ton of groups like this. I thought I would get a lot of examples from you guys. No? Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of confused on like where the line draws between like conforming and not conforming, because I think all these groups, like, you're still conforming to the norms of that
Yeah.
group.
So
just referring to not conforming to like normal society.
Yeah, I want to say most people or the existing norms that we have for a while, like traditions. You don't want to follow traditions. That's not conformist, right? You're not conforming. What else?
So then, would LGBTQ be considered non-conforming? Because
I think it depends on, as a group of people, like what kind of behavior do you think they're not conforming? Because if I'm thinking being LGBTQ, if they don't have any movement, like they're just being themselves, it's hard for me to think, oh, they are non-conforming, right? It's not like I'm choosing to behave. I don't know how to say it. Do you guys know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel like it depends, like, you could be part of an LGBT group that, like, is non-conforming. But I feel like as an individual, that doesn't make you non-conforming.
Yes.
It's not like you actively, you can choose to be, like, a punk person. You don't, like, choose to be gay.
Yes. I think that's what I was trying to say. It's that as a person, as an LGBTQ group member, you can conform or you can not conform, right? You can't just follow what everyone's doing, and then you might not tell other people you're conforming. So it's a good example, but it might be more complicated.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else? No? I thought it would be a hot topic. All right. So yeah, I had some of those movements and goth people, punks, and bikers. Right? There's so many examples. All right. That's it. You guys look tired. We had some good discussion at the beginning, though. Any questions?
Mr. Wan?
Yes.
So I noticed that some of the recent lectures haven't been put up yet. Are those going to be uploaded at some point in the next couple days? Or?
I thought I'm all caught up. I'm not? I'm pretty sure I'm all caught up.
Okay.
Yep. When did you check?
I checked this morning, but...
Really?
Am I just checking the YouTube channel?
Oh, the YouTube channel. Oh, I'm sorry. I might forgot to upload the videos, but I did upload the PowerPoint. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought it was
saw
the PowerPoint. Okay, I'll upload the videos. I think it's because there's one time I had to take care of that blurring. I forgot. My mistake. I'll upload it today.
Okay.
And, yep. And for approval, I will finish that today if you send it to me. All right, that's it.